the chairman are the two that I believe have not yet rejoined. Here's Jim now.
It's Grandpa Jerry Levins.
I think he's on. Hey Becky, did you get that? Did you get that beautiful poem that I sent you?
I did.
But when we get a few on here, I'd like for you to read it. I tear up every time I read it.
My part-time day job got in the way of joining you guys this morning.
Chairman Edwards, are you here, Chairman Edwards? Oh, I'm sorry, I need to make you a presenter, sir.
All right. You guys can hear me now?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, I apologize. I was having some technical difficulties rejoining for some reason. I was having trouble getting in. I had to restart everything.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were taking a nap.
Well, that's been nice. All righty. It appears that we have completed all of our work as it relates to the presentations. Let me just make certain of that, MDA. Do we have any presentations that we have not covered that you all are aware of?
Chairman, there's no presentations that we had two applicants that did not RSVP to make a presentation. We've not heard from them during the break. But I did want to ask if you would just take 1 or 2 minutes, because we've got a lot of participants and other applicants that have joined the call that were unsure about the format for why some were able to present and others were not invited to present. And I've tried to remind some of them that during public comments, they can provide information they would like to share with the board. But the board requested a very specific group of presenters. If you could just kind of take a moment to walk back through where we got, or how we got to today.
I'll be happy to do that.
All right.
So let me explain the process that we have been through, and I would invite any other members of the advisory board that want to comment on this. Our process this year is the same as our process last year. We began this year with 79 projects that were submitted. And in order to fully vet these projects, we go through a process by which we begin with the entire list of 79. We have time to talk about each individual project, and we have a vote. And that vote indicates whether or not there is enough support based on the initial complete review of the project application from each member of the advisory board to essentially keep the project on the list for consideration. And we've gone through that process by which we've gone through all 79 projects submitted. And every member of the advisory board has indicated either yes or no that they would like to keep the project on the list for further consideration and further discussion. As we've continued to go through that process, we ended up with 15 projects that a majority, or in some cases, the entire board indicated that they would like to keep on the list for consideration. And so essentially we're having layers of vetting here. It begins with an initial project application review in which we individually review all that was submitted. And then we discuss it with MDA. They have scored each project based on the scoring system that they have created. We review the scores that MDA provided to the projects. And then we make decisions about essentially narrowing down the list based on the projects that have interest from the advisory board. And we have gotten to the point now where we have 15 projects that now remain on that list. Officially, no votes have been taken on whether to recommend or not recommend projects to the legislature. But we are hopefully going to be doing some of that today, potentially finalizing that today. But we have taken votes on whether or not to keep projects under discussion or consideration. And that is how we arrived at the 15 projects that were left. Because we had narrowed it down, MDA contacted those 15 applicants and allowed them to come and provide a 5-minute presentation. We did not have those presentations from applicants last year, but several of the advisory board members indicated that they would like to have some opportunity both to hear from the applicants on the projects that had been narrowed down, and also to ask a few clarifying questions of the applicants. We do plan on having a public comment period, as we have had in each one of our meetings, in which anyone that would like to speak certainly can speak. So at any point, applicants always will have the ability to address the board. I hope that gives a relatively thorough rundown of how we've gotten to where we are today. And I'll just pause to ask if I've missed anything or if anyone has anything to add.
Mr. Chair, you're correct. This is Mark Cumbus, but I have a question, a technical question here. A person I see is myself. I don't see anybody else, and I won't be able to see any other. Can Harrison address that? What the problem is? Can y'all see me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. I do not have you in one of the windows on my screen, Mark, but what I am seeing on my screen are windows with several different participants in the windows.
Okay, see, I have that, and I like to have that. Harrison, can you tell me how I can achieve that?
I'm not aware of what exactly you're seeing, sir. We can see you if you.
I'm seeing. All I'm seeing is the initials of everyone.
Well, there are only, I believe, 5 screens on, sir. That's Chairman Edwards, Jerry Levins, Ms. Becky Montgomery Jenner, Mr. Cronin, and Jamie Miller, whose computer is titled Blair Hurst. Those 5 are the only ones with camera feeds active, and then everyone else's cameras are off, sir. In order to turn your camera on, you need to tap your screen, and then at the bottom, I believe, of your screen, you should see a video camera with a line through it. If you click that, then the line through the video camera will turn off, and we should be able to see you at that time if you enable your video to be fed.
I just did that, and the camera's on. I mean, it's not necessary that I be seen, but I would like to see everyone else.
Mark, I was able to see you on my screen during the morning session.
Yeah.
You were in one of the windows this morning.
Okay.
Mr. Cummins, I'm not sure what your view is. Perhaps you're on a speaker view. If you went to maybe view tiles, I'm also not sure if you're on a phone or a computer. I'm
on an iPhone because I don't have electricity.
Sure.
So I'm in my car, hooked up to the car charger.
Okay. I'm not sure that I have a solution to that at this time, sir. I do see that Mr. Fagan just joined via video stream, but I'm not sure that I have a further advice to you at this time on how to see folks.
Harrison, I'll let you check on that as we go along here, and maybe you will be able to, if you need to, just speak up, and maybe you'll be able to tell him how to correct his technical issue there.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, so the way I propose we go about this next portion, and I just want to make sure that there's no objection from any of the members of the advisory board. There's likely to be some discussion on each one of these projects from various members. I will just call each project up individually, ask if there is any discussion, and at that point, once we have discussed and everyone it feels like we've discussed everything that is outstanding, I'll accept a motion to recommend, and then we will vote and make sure NBA records those votes. I will do a vote call and go around as we have. Is that for everyone?
Actually, before we do that, this morning we could see on the sidebar all of the people who were listening in. Harrison, can you fix it so that we can see everyone who is clued in?
Yes, ma'am. Are you on the laptop, Ms. Montgomery Jenner?
No.
Okay. I know that on my computer here, there's along the top, there's a screen with various buttons, one of which says show or hide participants. So that's something that you would do, ma'am, not something that I could adjust to my knowledge. You can click view participants.
iPad?
No, I'm on the computer with the double screen, and when I say hide participants, that sidebar panel goes away. But when I click on it, it says people, but there's nobody in the panel.
Yeah, I'll echo that. What I'm seeing on my screen, I've got a bottom panel on my laptop. This morning there were initials on each one of the icons. I'm no longer seeing those either.
And the names along the side.
I'm not familiar with the answers to those questions. I see the names on the side, both the presenter titled folks and the attendees, and I see the initials along the bottom. So I'm not entirely sure how to answer that question. I do have an answer to Mr. Cumbest, was given by an IT colleague here. If you close your app and then reopen it, that could possibly help. I understand, Mr. Cumbest, that you had your computer on running throughout the break. Maybe if you leave and then rejoin, I'd be happy to readmit you, and that may solve a problem there.
That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. Adios for now.
We'll give a moment.
And that advice may also apply to the other folks who have varying degrees of ability to view participants.
Harrison, if you'll just let us know when Mark has made it back into the meeting.
I'm not sure that he ever left, but we'll see if he closes the app, he opens it.
I know this sounds crazy. I can't close it. Let's just proceed. As long as y'all can hear me, you can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. So the first project that we have on the list is the Pops Ferry Road Extension Project Phase 1. Let me ask for any comments or discussion before we move to a vote. Are there any comments or discussion from the members of the advisory board? All right. Hearing none, do we have a motion to recommend this project? All right. I did not hear any motions there to recommend that project.
I'll make the motion. Mark Cumbus.
Okay. Do we have a second? All right. We had a motion, and it appears we have no second. Project can be moved. We can certainly move for reconsideration at any point the rest of the meeting, but I just want to make it clear we did not have a second to that motion, so the motion. Okay, the second project we have for consideration is the Ventura Drive Improvements Project with the City of Lucedale. Is there any discussion on this project?
This is Mark Cumbus. I regret that the City of Lucedale didn't take the opportunity this morning to make their presentation. Because this is a really good project. I'm for it. I voted for it before, but I'm just quite frankly a little surprised that they didn't take the time to make a presentation this morning, like I thought they were going to.
All right. Do we have a motion to recommend this project?
I'll make a motion. We recommend it.
All right, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Ashley, I actually know a little bit about the project also. I'll second it.
All right, we do have a motion and a second.
Could I ask for clarification? Does a motion and second take us to a vote? Is that what it?
It does, yes.
Okay.
It does. And so I will do a roll call. Let me just make sure that I get everyone here. And I'll start with Jerry Levins. Jerry, I think you may be on mute there.
I'm sorry, I was asking. No.
Okay. Becky Jenner.
A lot of interference.
I don't know if it's me or somebody else.
Okay, I think it got muted there. All right, Jim Simpson.
No.
All right, Greg Cronin.
Yes.
Moses Fegan.
No.
Mark Cumbus.
Yes.
And I vote no. All right, MDA, you got those recorded?
Can you
Beck,
unmute us?
Can you run through them just one more time, make sure I got them all right?
Yes, I believe Jerry Levins was a no. Becky Jenner was a no. Jim Simpson was a no. Greg Cronin was a yes. Moses Fegan was a no. Mark Cumbus was a yes, and I was a no.
Awesome, that's what I had, thank you.
Our next project is the Pascagoula Downtown Redevelopment Initiative project. Do we have any discussion on that project? Any items for discussion? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to recommend this project to the legislature?
So moved.
Okay, I do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll do the roll call. Jerry Levins.
I'll vote yes.
Becky Jenner. Becky Jenner.
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. Jim Simpson.
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Greg Cronin.
Yes.
Moses Fegan.
No.
Mark Cumbus.
I vote no, basically because of the huge ask.
Okay. And my vote on that project is yes. All right. Our next project is the George County Industrial Park Main Entrance Road project. Do we have any discussion on this project? Any discussion? All right, hearing none.
Well, no, I make a motion. I make a motion that we approve it.
Recommend it. Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? All right. I hear no second, so the motion fails. Okay. Our next project is the Gulfport Town Center project. Do you have any discussion on this project? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to recommend?
So moved.
All right, I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll go through the roll. Jerry Levins,
Yes.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
Yes.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
Moses Fegan,
No.
Mark Cumbus. Mark Cumbus. Have we lost Mark?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We got to. I'm going to abstain on this one.
Okay, we have an abstention. And my vote on this project is yes. The project is recommended. All right, our next project is the Gulfport Biloxi International Airport Project Ready Site Mitigation Project. Do you have any discussion on this project? Okay. All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to recommend?
So moved. And
Yeah.
Mark, we can see you now.
Good.
Okay, we can see you now, Mark. We have a motion. Do we have?
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll go through the roll call. Jerry Levins,
Yes.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
Yes.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
Moses Fegan,
Yes.
Mark Cumbus,
Yes.
and my vote is also yes. Project is recommended. Okay, our next project on the list is the Piney Wood Pellet Mill Reactivation Project. Do we have any discussion on this project? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, do we have a motion to recommend?
I recommend it. Yes.
Okay, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll go through the roll call vote. Jerry Levin,
Yes.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
Yes.
Greg Cronin,
No.
Moses Fegan,
No.
Mark Cumbus,
Yes.
and my vote is no. I believe that project has passed with a 4-3 vote, so it is recommended. Okay, our next project on the list is the Assault Landing Strip project, which I believe they called the Multi-User Aerostrip project at the Hancock County Port and Harbor Commission. Do we have any discussion on this project? Any discussion? All right, hearing none, do we have any motions to recommend? All right, I hear no motions. Our next project on the list is the Memorial Multi-Special Center for Memorial Hospital Foundation. Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, do we have any motions?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. I'll go through the roll call. Jerry Levins.
Yes.
Becky Jenner.
Yes.
Jim Simpson.
Yes.
Greg Coleman.
Yes.
Moses Fegan.
No.
Mark Cummings.
No.
My vote is yes. Next project on the list is the Coastal Mississippi YMCA project. Do we have any discussion?
Hey, something's wrong with my volume. My audio has gone out.
We can hear you.
Do you hear us at all, Mark? We can hear you.
Yeah, it's just a huge. Y'all, let's please go with Zoom next time. I guarantee you won't have this crap.
Well, this may be our last meeting, so hopefully.
Well, for next year, hey, no, Microsoft. It
Hopefully.
happens every time.
All right.
Zoom.
All righty. Coastal Mississippi YMCA project. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to recommend by Becky Jenner. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second by Greg Cronin. I'll go through the roll call. Jerry Levins.
Yes.
All right, Becky Jenner.
Yes.
Jim Simpson.
No.
Greg Cronin.
Yes.
Moses Fegan.
No.
Mark Humber.
Yes.
And my vote on that project is yes. Okay, our next project is the 1515 Government Street project applied for by OHOS Land and the City of Ocean Springs. Is there any discussion? Any items for discussion on this one? Okay, hearing none. Do we have any motions?
I move.
Okay, we do have a motion to recommend. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second, and I'll do the roll call. Jerry Levins.
No.
Becky Jenner. I believe Becky was yes. All right, Jim Simpson.
No.
Jim Simpson's a no. Greg Cronin.
Yes.
All right, Moses Fegan.
No.
Mark Humbles.
Yes.
Mark Humbles will yes, and I will also vote yes on this one. Okay, that brings us to the Pearl River Community College, Hancock County Aviation Aerospace Workforce Academy. Do we have any discussion? Any items for discussion?
I got a quick question on this one. So,
Sure.
so is this the project that we approved last year and they got they got partial funding?
We did approve this. We did approve the project last year. MDA, you may have to remind me the amount of funding that was received. You know that off your head?
That's correct, Ashley. It was recommended, but did not receive funding.
Okay, so it was recommended last year, but was not funded last year.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Okay, do we have motions to recommend?
So moved.
We have a
I'll
motion.
second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll do the roll call. Jerry Levins,
Yes.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
Yes.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
Egan,
Yes.
Mark Cumbest,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. All right, that brings us to project C. Have any discussion on this project?
Which
I'm
one?
sorry, you heard statically. Could you repeat the project that we're discussing?
Certainly. This brings us to the Singing River Healthcare Workforce Training Academy. Do we have any discussion? Harrison, I am still hearing a little bit of feedback. It may be that that there might be something that's unmuted. I'm not certain about that.
Yes, sir. I believe that, I'm not sure who, but I believe one of the chair people who, I'm not sure which one, but I believe that somebody has their phone that's staying unmuted even as you're speaking. I think that might be the issue, sir.
Okay, no trouble. We'll just go ahead and hopefully everybody can hear. All right, I didn't hear any discussion on the project. Do we have a motion to recommend?
I move we recommend.
All right, we do have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll do the roll call. Gary Levins,
No.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
No.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
Moses Speaking. Sorry, Moses, I didn't get your vote.
I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, thank you. And then Mark Cumbest. Mark Cumbest. Mark, can you hear us?
He appears frozen, Chairman.
Okay.
Here he
Let's-
is.
Mark, have you made it back?
No, yeah, I voted yes.
Your vote is yes. All right.
Yes.
My vote is also yes. All right. The next project we have on our list is the Stone County High School Career Education Center Phase 2. Do we have any discussion? Any discussion? All right, hearing none. Do we have a motion to recommend?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and I'll do a roll call vote. Jerry Levins,
Yes.
Becky Jenner,
Yes.
Jim Simpson,
Yes.
Moses Fegan,
No.
Mark Cumbest.
I voted no last time. I'm voting yes this time.
All right, and I'm going to vote yes on that project. All right, and the final project we have on our current list is the Moss Point Magnificent Mile project. Do we have any discussion?
Actually, this is Greg. I don't think I was called on that vote.
Oh, I apologize, Greg.
That's fine. I vote yes.
So you're a yes on the Stone County High School Career
Correct.
Education. I
Yes.
apologize.
It's fine. We're good.
I think that's okay, so we're now on the Moss Point Magnificent Mile project. Any items for discussion? All right, hearing none, I will go ahead and go through the, hearing none, I need to ask if we have any motions to recommend.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Do we have a second for this project? Right, we do not have a second, so the motion fails. Okay, I believe that has taken us through the list of 15 projects that we have remaining on our list. Before we move on to additional motion, let me just check with MDA to ensure that they were able to record all the votes, that they don't have any clarifications necessary, and that we have covered all the projects outstanding.
Would you like for me to reread, Chairman, or
yes?
maybe is someone in your boardroom going to do that?
I was going to ask if you would reread the ones and then the status either recommended or not recommended.
Yes, sir. Well, there were 15 that entered today's meeting, still in consideration. The first was Pops Ferry Road. I have that motion fails, so no vote. City of Loosedale, there was a motion, but it was not recommended. Pass Christian, downtown redevelopment, that was recommended. On George County Board of Supervisors Industrial Park, the motion failed, or there was maybe no motion at all. Gulfport Town Center, that was recommended. Gulfport Biloxi Regional Airport Authority was recommended. Guthrie Pellets was recommended. The motion failed on the Assault Landing Strip, where there was no motion to begin with, sir. The Memorial Hospital Foundation was recommended. The YMCA was recommended. The Ocean Springs OHOS was recommended. The Pearl River Community College Project Workforce Academy was recommended. Singing River Healthcare System Workforce Training Academy was recommended. The Stone County School District was recommended. And the motion failed on the Magnificent Mile, sir.
Thank you very much, Harrison. I appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, the only error I caught in that is I did make a motion for George County Board of Supervisors Industrial Park. There was a motion that was made, but there was no second.
Was no second. Okay, thank you very much, Mark, for that clarification. All right, so now we can move into a period of open business. This is a time if we want to have any revotes or motions for reconsideration of projects. Any of the 79 projects would be eligible to be brought back up during this time. And so I'll open the floor for any motions. And after the motion is made, we'll have a period of discussion. And then we can, once the discussion is finalized, we can move to a vote.
I'd like to
Mr.
make
Chairman, I have
motion.
two that sorry.
Go ahead, Greg.
Greg, we got one.
I have two that I'd like to bring up just for I guess consideration. One of these is the Walter Anderson Museum, WAMA. It failed in our last vote. The request is really for the funding of the second part of the creative complex that they're putting together. I think I've seen a little bit of inconsistency in how we've treated some of these projects have come back, I guess, for their second phase or third or additional monies that they weren't allocated in the legislative session, albeit that some of the legislatures have indicated they would like to continue funding these projects. I believe that WAMA is one of those, and I think that in that we supported it last year, it has merit to at least have that conversation in that it's a project was funded. I think about 50% of it was funded. I believe that about the remainder of that would be funded this year. If not this year, maybe this year and next year. But that funding, the legislature, in my mind, has committed to the project in terms of providing funding. And it would make sense to me that we might just, I don't know what the protocol would be from here, but to have either some discussion or I'll follow your lead in terms of what's proper here.
If you would be willing to phrase that in terms of a motion to reconsider the Walter Anderson Museum project, then we can move into discussion as long as we have a second.
I would move. So moved.
Okay, so moved. And do we have a second?
I'll second it, Mark Cumbus.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So that will allow us to have discussion if there is any discussion on the project. Any discussion? Okay, so what?
One thing I'll say,
Yes, sir.
I'll say one thing, and it's not about this project, but it's about this idea. And it's based on my experience as a legislator. What is a common thing is to get your nose under the tent. If the camel can get their nose under the tent on phase one, it legitimizes all subsequent phases, and it ties your hands and just as Craig absolutely correctly points out this time, we funded it last year, so why wouldn't we keep funding it? And that's a problem for me, because based on what the legislature did last year, I look at these projects just the way I'm approaching it. I'm either for a project or not, and I'm not gonna. I had to tell myself I'm going to vote for a project with all this money because I know the legislature will prioritize where the dollars go. I'm just voting on, is this a good project or not? And that's why the Gulfport Town Center, I voted for it because I think it's a good project, but I'm not in favor at all of giving $30 million away. So I think, with all due respect, if not for this project, but generally, if we get hooked into funding projects simply because we did phase one, we're going to start seeing little bitty contracted phase one, and then their cousin's going to come the next year that's not nearly so attractive, but we're going to have no choice but to say, hey, you've already started, why keep doing this? That's why I kind of dislike phased projects, because of that involuntary demand that it places on us. While I realize some projects have no choice but to be phased, but again, that's not about this project. It's just in general. That's all. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, do we have any other additional discussion? All right, hearing none, we will be voting, and the roll call vote on this will be a vote on the motion to reconsider. So a yes vote on the reconsideration would mean that we would then be able to move on to a vote for recommendation or not recommendation. So this is just a vote to bring it back to the table for reconsideration. Do a roll call vote. Jerry Levins.
Yes.
Thank you, Jenner.
No.
Jim Simpson.
In deference to my friend Craig, I'm going to vote yes. It was reconsidered.
No,
I'm so for it, but I'm going to put it back on your table.
Jim, you're a gentleman, my friend. Okay, Mark Cumbus.
I vote yes.
All right, Moses Fegan.
No.
Craig Cronin.
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. So the motion does pass to reconsider. That now brings the project back onto the table for reconsideration. So let me just ask, is there any discussion for reconsideration of the project? All right, hearing none, do you have a motion to recommend the project?
Motion, I'm committed.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it again.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So I will do a roll call, and this is the vote on whether to recommend or not recommend the project. Jerry Levin.
Yes.
Becky Jenner.
No.
Jim Simmons.
No, regretfully.
Mark Cumbus.
Yes.
Moses Fegan.
No.
Craig Cronin.
Yes.
My vote is yes on that project. And I believe we had four. I believe that was a 4-3.
That's correct. That's correct, Chairman. 4-3 to recommend.
All right. Okay. Thank you for that. I hope my parliamentary procedure is up to par here. Do we have any other motions or business?
Yes, I would like for us to revisit Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority Downtown Revitalization Project.
All right, we have a motion to revisit Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority project. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So the following vote will be on the motion to reconsider the project. Gary Levin?
No.
Becky Jenner?
No.
Jim Simpson.
No.
All right, Mark Cumbus,
Yes.
Moses Fegan,
No.
Greg Cronin.
Once again, I'm committed, yes.
My vote is no. So I believe that we failed. So that project has not come back up for reconsideration. All right. Any other motions?
I just got a note that from one of the people from Loosedale. I don't want to be redundant. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I would like to, at least now that we've got somebody from Loosedale that has shown up, that I'd like to talk about the Ventura Drive. I'd like to bring it up one more time since we've got some people from Loosedale on the phone.
All right. So we have already had a motion on that one, I believe, and it failed. So I will ask for any discussion on the reconsideration of that project. All right. I'm sorry. I should have asked, do we have a second on the motion for reconsideration of that project? I got ahead of myself. We have a second to Mark Cumbus' motion. All right. Hearing none, the motion fails.
Okay. I do have one more.
Okay.
The George County Supervisor Industrial Park Main Entrance Road project. I'd like to bring that up. I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider that one.
All right. We have a motion for reconsideration. Do we have a second? All right. I hear no seconds, so the motion fails. Any additional motions? Any additional motions or items of business for the committee? I'll just give everyone one moment here to check back through their notes and make certain that we have handled everything.
Mr. Chairman, could we ask Mr. Matheny to just give us a one last check of what has survived?
Certainly. I think the only addition was the Walter Anderson Museum project, if I'm not mistaken. And Harrison, I'm sure you've got that on your list. So if you'll just read through the list one more time.
That's correct, sir. I'd be happy to read through the list of projects that I have listed as recommended. First is City of Pass Christian Downtown Redevelopment Initiative. The next is the Gulfport Town Center. The next is the Gulfport Biloxi Regional Airport Authority Project Ready Site Mitigation. The next is Guthrie Pellets Inc. Piney Wood Pellet Mill Reactivation Project. The next, Mr. Chairman, is the Memorial Hospital Foundation Memorial Multi-Specialty Center. Following that is the Mississippi Gulf Coast YMCA Coastal Mississippi YMCA project. The next is the OHOS Land LLC and City of Ocean Springs 1515 Government Street project. The next is the Pearl River Community College Aviation Aerospace Workforce Academy. The next is the Sing River Healthcare Workforce Training Academy. The next is the Stone County High School Career and Technical Education Center Phase 2 project. And the final recommended project as of this moment is the Walter Anderson Museum of Art Creative Complex Phases 2 and 3.
Thank you. By my count, that's 11 projects that have received recommendations. Okay, I'm going to just ask one more time if there are any other motions or items of business.
If I could, I just want to have a comment.
Sure.
I just think, and it's been said so many times before, for a project to be approved and bypass this vetting process, which I know I've done many hours to, and I know many of y'all probably have more hours in it than I have. It really infuriates me when a project is presented straight to the legislature without the proper vetting process. If I were an applicant and I went through the process being vetted and going through the whatever criticism there may be, and then somebody else wanting to do the same thing goes to their legislator and gets it done, gives me heartburn, really does.
Thank you for your comment, Mark. Any other comments or items of business? All right, hearing none, I believe that concludes our items of business for the day, but we do have one other item on our agenda, which is public comment. And so I'm going to turn it back over to MDA. Well, before I do that, let me just check to ask if MDA has any additional items of business for the committee, and if not, I'll let them handle the logistics of the public comment.
Chairman, we don't have any additional items. We would just ask that if any of the participants on the call, if they do wish to make a comment, that they either raise their hand in the application, or they make a comment in the chat room to let us know that they want to make a comment. We would recommend that you keep the public comments to 3 minutes, and if there are questions, you can extend that, but generally the comments would need to be 3 minutes.
All right, MDA has asked that we keep all the minutes 3 minutes to see in my screen there hands that are going up. Let you handle the process of recognizing them in order and turning the mic on so they can address us.
The first hand I saw go up, Chairman, was Ms. Sue Wright. I'm going to make her a presenter so that she can speak, and then after that I have Michael Silverman. I'll put your hands down once I have you on the list, so if you see me lower your hand, don't be offended. That just means I've acknowledged you. So first is Ms. Sue Wright, and then I'll keep my list running, sir.
Thank you. All right.
You're welcome, Chairman. Ms. Wright, I believe you're enabled, Ms. Wright.
Okay, Ms. Wright.
Ms. Wright, you're on mute, and if you take it off that, then you will be able to speak.
Thank you. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. I listened to the process and I don't understand it very well, but felt I needed to ask and state that we think our project has great merit. Is there any opportunity for us at this stage for you to reconsider or for our project to move on further?
I guess I can answer that question. Answer is yes. If any member of the committee was to make a motion to reconsider, then we would handle it in the same way that you just saw. And I would also just remind applicants that we are an advisory body. We are tasked with vetting the project and making our recommendations as an independent group, independent of both the Mississippi Development Authority and the legislature. We're a non-governmental body. And ultimately, the Mississippi legislature will have, they will not just consider the projects that are recommended by this advisory board. They will receive all projects that were submitted, and they have the authority to appropriate to any projects that were submitted, not just the projects that were recommended. Essentially, our recommendation is just the voice of a body that they created statutorily to vet the projects before they arrive at the legislature. So the answer to your question is yes, the project can still be considered, and yes, it can be considered by the board if there are any motions to do so.
May we receive some feedback as to why it changed so dramatically with this last vote?
Let me make sure I get clarification. You're asking what changed about it?
Could we get any feedback on the project as a result of this not getting a second and not moving forward?
I'll open the floor to members of the committee if any of them would like.
Mr. Chairman, let me just remind everybody, by me recusing myself, I cannot get involved in any motions, seconds, or voting on it. So I just wanted to remind everybody that I'm recusing myself.
We understand. And thank you for your feedback and this opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comments very much. Okay, Harrison, I believe you have your list.
Yes, sir, I do. I'm going to go ahead and make Ms. Wright an attendee again, and then I'm going to make Mr. Michael Silverman a presenter.
Thank you.
Making that change now. Mr. Silverman, you're on mute. You're now off mute. The floor is yours, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Advisory Board, thank you for your time and all the energy and effort you've put into this process. Serving as the city manager of Pascagoula, I just want to readdress the Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority project. I know when applications are submitted, sometimes you can't get the full scope of what is going on to community to understand why the application has been submitted. Our downtown is undergoing a significant transformation right now. In the past 2 years, between a partnership with the Pascagoula Redevelopment Authority, which is an arm of the city, in many local developers, we've seen an investment of over $21 million in residential units, restaurants, bars, and boutique shops being added to our downtown. This application that we've submitted looks to build off of that. Our proposal was a $14.9 million development to bring a large-scale boutique hotel to the area in the heart of our downtown, which would also address our parking lot needs and just general community needs. We currently have $350,000 invested from public entities, one being the Redevelopment Authority and the other being Jackson County being willing to donate a portion of land. This is a true public-private partnership that will further benefit the development and growth of our downtown. Just to highlight a particular statistic of the growth our downtown is going to see in these next few years, currently our downtown sits at 0 residential units. By September 2021, we're going to have a total of 38 residential units. This is an area that's going to be experiencing significant growth. And with this application, we look to further that. And we also look to bring in 48 full-time employees with the addition of this potential project to the area. And this is just another key component of building upon our community and also addressing the large number of jobs we have available through Huntington Ingalls and Chevron. We look to add upon our quality of life in the downtown and make sure that folks stay in Mississippi as opposed to going to other parts of Alabama or even Louisiana. So thank you for your time and all your efforts and energy throughout this process.
Thank you very much, sir, for your comments. Greatly appreciated. Okay, Harrison, we'll go to the next.
Yes, sir. The last person I have on my list that I've seen a raised hand is Mr. Ken Flanagan. I'm finding him now. I'm selecting him, making him a presenter. Mr. Flanagan, you've now been made a presenter in the program. If you take your microphone off of mute, we will be able to hear any comments you have.
Good afternoon. Can y'all hear me all right? Very good.
Yes, sir.
I'm broadcasting to you live from the city of Lucedale. I did want to mention to you that this morning the fine Board of Aldermen and the mayor were tied up in emergency meetings, as was the Board of Supervisors. As y'all know, the hurricane from last week, the hammer fell hard here, and the city has asked me, along with the Board of Supervisors, to pass along our I'm sorry we couldn't make it this morning. It was just a very busy morning with FEMA and MEMA in town and all the linemen. I'm broadcasting with you right now on generator power, and the city of Lucedale is one step ahead of us. They are actually on real power this morning. I am hoping when I get home tonight, I'll have power at my house. So it has been a full 5 days. As far as the county's project, I did want to add, watching the proceedings last week, it was encouraging to see the vote. I'm sorry I didn't move forward today. I do want to let you know that the George County Industrial Park has experienced its largest growth in the last 30 years, both in business and residents and new jobs. And it's an exciting time for us here. The Evanston Road project used to be old Highway 63. It used to be part of the state's highway system, but turned over to the county. And it's just time for some extra money to be put into the industrial park. This project will directly support our largest employer, which is American Tank and Vessel, and it's 220 jobs, plus another 100 jobs from small businesses. 8 different county businesses are along Evanston Road. And of course, it will support the new employees going into Enviva wood pellets. This project is about more than just that future project. We have 1,200 acres, Jamie, 1,200 acres in our industrial park that we're looking forward to one day developing and teaming up with Mississippi Export Railroad. And this road project is part of it. I appreciate everyone's time, and any prayers and support you can send up to George County certainly would be appreciated in the aftermath of this hurricane. I know everyone on this call appreciates that. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Flanagan. We appreciate you and wish you all the best as you continue your recovery. I know that you guys got quite a bit of wind up there, so we certainly understand how busy you were this morning. So no trouble there at all. Thank you. All right, I believe, do we have anyone else?
We do, sir. Mr. Donald Van de Verken has asked to speak via chat, making him a presenter now.
All right, thank you.
And sir, you are now a presenter. If you, I see your microphone is already off mute. You're ready to go.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. And I appreciate you guys spending the countless hours on Microsoft Teams or Microsoft or all the other Zoom calls. This is a lot of work, and giving up all your time to serve the public. It's commendable. I mean, this is a lot of work. 70-some projects is amazing. As a small business person and as a agriculture person, I just want to point out that in Mississippi, agriculture is its largest industry. It employs a lot of people. And I'm happy to see that you helped out the forestry guys. But with the oil spill, the hurricanes, and all the other things that are affecting agriculture, we're taking a beating. And we're just looking for a little help. One of the problems that the state has is, and we have the answer to it, is dealing with childhood obesity and diabetes and obesity. And we all know that our state suffers with that. We're the 15th largest grower of blueberries in the state in the United States, the largest in the Mid-South. We export our berries worldwide, India, England, Mexico. All we're asking for is new ideas in how to process and deal with blueberries, whether we turn it into powder, we turn it into, taking the seeds. And we all know that blueberries has a great antioxidant agent in it. So yes, I had a project in there, but I realized that I didn't put enough zeros behind my project to even be considered. All I was asking for was a little bit of money so we could pasteurize, our blueberry product, because we have a retailer who has 70 stores in the area that would take the product, but it needed to be pasteurized so we can extend the shelf life. And so again, this is just a shout out to all the small business people out there that are just looking for a little bit of honey and just a little bit of help. Everyone's talking about revitalizing their downtown areas and increasing their retail space and all those other things. Well, you got to fill those shops, and those shops are going to be filled with small businesses. And I just want you to know that this money was not just for cities and schools and for all these other projects. They're for small businesses too. And so maybe you consider next year, you just set aside a portion of it to help somebody open up a nail salon or a barber shop or a bakery or something that, you know, people have a dream about, and, you know, to help to do something. None of the projects here were for small businesses. It will eventually help small businesses through construction jobs and some other stuff, but it doesn't directly employ people. All those small businesses all those jobs are just for small, you know, construction jobs, and then they're going to disappear. And eventually, all the projects you considered, all they're going to do is speed our children away from our community. We have to create something here that'll keep them here. And so I'll end it there. I appreciate your time. You know, for the folks that got hurt with the hurricane, we're praying for you. And, you know, we're all one coast, we're all one state, and thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Much appreciated. All right, Harrison, do we have any others?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Wayne Lenup, I hope I'm saying that last name correctly, but he did ask to speak as well, and so I'll make him the presenter now. And then after that, Mr. Chairman, Ms. Sue Wright asked to speak again. I'll let you decide whether that's feasible, sir. Mr. Wade Lenup, you're a presenter now. Your microphone is on mute. If you take that off mute, then you'll be able to speak and we'll be able to hear you.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
We can hear you.
I do appreciate the work of this board, and I just wanted to make sure that there was no confusion. Of course, I was a little obviously disappointed at the lack of a second, but there was just a couple things that it brought to mind. We had 5 votes the last time and didn't get a second this time. So I just wanted to be sure that there wasn't a technical issue where everyone maybe didn't hear Ashley's request for a second. Also, as an alderman here in Moss Point, I believe in this project, and I just wanted to, I didn't speak originally because I just wanted to let Sue do all the talking. I didn't think you wanted to hear from everybody, but I wanted to make sure that you had all the information, because one of the members of the panel made the comment that she appreciated the video and how much it helped her because she didn't have access to all of the attachments originally, and that concerns me because a lot of those attachments and a lot of, you know, that really painted the picture of this overall project. You know, this interchange we're talking about is I-10, Highway 63, and Highway 613. It is the gateway coming from the east, coming from Alabama into Mississippi. It is the first major, or really the first commercial area, first opportunity for commercial development. Years ago, when Highway 63 was first 4-laned, there was a lot of development. And what I noticed is all of that development followed along where there were service roads beside the highway and adjacent to the interstate. Most of that development stopped where the service roads stopped. So I think if we could continue these service roads, which is the core of the development, to the other highway, to 613, and connect both highways, which are so close to each other. And I've heard told that the whole length of Interstate 10 from the west coast to the east coast, that this is the only place where you've got 2 major highways this close together with this type of interchange. The other thing is, coming from the west, we are the first developable interchange east of Highway 57 because of the restrictions of the Sand Hill Crane Refuge. So this area is so prime for development. And we scaled down our ask to only ask to get our project started, and we're looking at other sources. We just really would appreciate reconsideration. And also, I want you to know there, between north, south, and east, west, and along this interchange, there are almost 100,000 cars every day coming through there. So this area is a prime area, and it would benefit not just Moss Point. This is on the northern edge of Moss Point. So once you come into this, what we call the gateway from the east, you can go south to Pascagoula into the Bio-Casat Industrial Park. You can go north to George County, or you can continue a little further west and go into downtown Moss Point as you turn south, or even further west over into Goche. It's a major interchange with a lot of opportunity. We think it would benefit more than just Moss Point. It would benefit all of Jackson County. So appreciate you for letting me speak. I just wanted to make sure that we're all clear on the project, and I do think it would be very beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, do we have any others, Harrison?
If there were any, if any one of you had a question, I'm sorry, I would be glad to answer.
What was your question, Mr. Chairman, for me?
I was just asking if we had any additional comments.
Ms. Wright did ask to speak. Would you like for me to make her presenter here?
Yes, that'd be fine.
Ms. Wright, you're a presenter now. Your microphone's on mute. You're ready to go.
Thank you. We're going to ask again, most sincerely, to ask you to make a motion and second to reconsider Moss Point's Magnificent Mile project and take a vote to move our project forward. We would appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, do we have any additional comments, public comments?
I have no further requests for public comment, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Harrison. All right, we have no further requests for public comments. Let me, before we get to the point where we would adjourn the meeting, let me just ask if we have any additional items of business, any motions to consider from the board.
I'd like to propose a motion for reconsideration for the City of Moss Point Miracle Mile.
All right, we have a motion for reconsideration. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I believe that was Greg Cronin. All right, so we do have a motion and a second.
Yeah, I did second.
All right, great.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. And I will go through the roll call vote. Jerry Levins,
Yes.
Becky Jenner. Becky, do we have you?
No,
Well, I'm sorry, was that a no?
no,
Okay, thank you. Jim Simpson,
No.
Moses Fegan,
No.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
and the chair will vote yes. I believe that that is a 3-3 tie with Mr. Cumbus.
Please note that Mark Cumbus has to abstain.
Yes,
Unfortunately.
recused himself, and I believe in a tie situation that the motion fails. Okay, do we have any additional items of business?
Ashley.
Yes,
I'd
yes, go ahead.
I'd like to change my vote to a yes, and we'll let the legislature do what they will.
All right, we have a request from Ms. Jenner to change her vote. I guess we'll go by the legislative rules here. So as long as there are no objection to changing her vote, then we'll allow her to do that. Any objection? All right, I hear no objection. So the vote is 4-3 with Ms. Jenner voting in the affirmative. And,
Ashley, that vote would be 4-2 with one recusal.
excuse me, I'm sorry. You're correct. 4-2 with a recusal from Mark. That's
Ashley, this is Jamie. Was that the vote to reconsider, and now y'all going to take up a vote to recommend?
That was the vote to reconsider. Yes. That was the vote to reconsider. All right. So we now have we've had the vote to reconsider. The project is back on the table. Do we have any discussion, any additional discussion on the project from the members of the committee?
You know, Jamie, the only, I mean, Ashley, the only thing I would add to this is that I am aware that this has some, I think, some strong legislative support. I don't know that that's been mentioned, and I do think that this is a comment just in general from knowledge of it being in the community more than anything, is that it has the support of the legislators, I think, from Jackson County in terms of wanting to do this project. I don't say that from a standpoint of influence, just that it does have some legislative support.
Do we have any other comments? All right. Do you have a motion to recommend the project?
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I'll go through a roll call. All right. We'll start with Jerry Levins.
Yes.
All right. Becky Jenner.
Yes,
Jim Simpson.
No.
Greg Cronin,
Yes.
Moses Fegan,
No.
and my vote is a yes. So the project is recommended with a 4-3 vote.
No, actually, 4-2 and a recusal.
I did it again. 4-2 with one recusal.
Yeah. Mark Cumbus recused himself.
Yes. Mark Cumbus has a recusal. All right. Do we have any other items of business? All right, hearing none, let me just very quickly say my sincere thanks to first the members of the advisory board. It's been an absolute honor to work with these men and women, put in the seriousness of their effort. All the board commissions I've ever served on, I think this one is the best. And I appreciate very much the time and energy and effort they put in. Hundreds and hundreds of hours combined this year. So I would like to thank them. I'd like to thank the Mississippi Development Authority and the staff there for the work that they've done. I think we've had a very smooth process this year, despite the challenges of remote meetings and software and applications and so forth. So we appreciate all the good work there. I'll be happy to entertain any final comments from members of the advisory board, and I'll be happy to entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, I hear no comments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So made.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we stand adjourned for the 2020 year of the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund Advisory Board, and we look forward to beginning our work again when hopefully we will have a chance to go to Jackson to talk about the work we've done. Thank you all for your work and your service, and have a wonderful afternoon. Continue your recovery from Hurricane Zeta.